Greetings, my beloved insomniacs and enigma chasers. I am Violet Nocturne, and tonight I bring you whispers that slither in the dark and sights that haunt the bravest minds. Welcome to the Serpent's Gallery, a tale to keep your eyes open long after the lights go out. Shall we begin? Picture a city, modern, sprawling, indifferent. In its labyrinth of streets, hidden behind glass towers and shadowy alleys, stands Tranquillus Art Gallery, an unassuming name for a most peculiar establishment. They say it acquires art that has no history, sculptures with no artists, and paintings whose brushstrokes breathe. Of course, none of this is advertised. It is only spoken of in hushed tones among the curious elite. Lydia, young and ambitious, was fresh out of art school. She carried dreams of becoming not just another name, but the name in modern expressionism. But you see, Lydia was never destined to carve her path with integrity, for her soul was a canvas of envy, and her paintbrush dipped in shades of desperation. She craved not just success, but dominance. And like so many before her, she found herself drawn to Tranquillus. The gallery stood at the edge of the arts district, a lonely silhouette against the twilight sky. Its facade was unmarked except for a serpent carved above the arching doorway. Its eyes gleamed with emerald ferocity, as if guarding secrets even the boldest would think twice to confront. Yet Lydia stepped in, clutching her portfolio as if it were her shield. An attendant greeted her, a man without expression but with a voice smooth as silk. His name, he said, was Adrian. He eyed her portfolio, but made no effort to touch it. Instead, he gestured for her to follow. The gallery, dimly lit, revealed walls lined with pieces that defied description, a sculpture that seemed to pulse like a heartbeat, a painting so dark its depths felt like staring into an abyss. And then, there was the hum, an eerie sound she couldn't trace but couldn't ignore. Adrian brought her to a room where a woman sat. Ah, Lucrezia, the enigmatic owner. She was ageless, her features sharp, yet oddly blurred, as if reality itself struggled to contain her. Her gaze was piercing, and her voice, dripping with honeyed menace, welcomed Lydia. "My dear Lydia," Lucrezia hissed, "Tranquillus is not like other galleries. We do not seek to display art. We seek to awaken it." Lydia felt her throat tighten. I'm looking to sell my work," she stammered. Lucrezia smiled, revealing teeth that seemed a little too sharp. "Sell? Oh no, my dear. You misunderstand. We commission not just art, but devotion." She leaned forward. "Tell me, what would you sacrifice for greatness?" Lydia recoiled, uncertain whether Lucrezia spoke in riddles or truths. "Sacrifice? I don't understand." Lucrezia gestured, and Adrian placed a small, blank canvas in Lydia's hands. It was cold to the touch. "Create," Lucrezia commanded, "not with talent, but with truth." Lydia felt an inexplicable compulsion to obey. She reached for her paints, but they weren't needed. Her fingers began to move on their own, dragging across the canvas. She couldn't see what she created, only felt the rhythm of her hands and the canvas drinking it in. Hours or moments passed. It was impossible to tell. When she finally looked down, she gasped. A serpent, a monstrous, coiled serpent, drenched in mesmerizing scales, emerged from her work, more real than paint had any right to be. It writhed, its eyes glinting with the same emerald glow as the carving above the gallery door. Lydia dropped the canvas, but the serpent didn't fall. It slithered out, growing, stretching, coiling within the room. And then it spoke. "Tell me," the serpent hissed, its forked tongue flicking in the air. "Shall we make a masterpiece?" Lydia was frozen, overwhelmed by a mix of terror and enchantment. But inside her, the hunger still burned, the hunger to dominate, to be remembered. "What do you want?" she whispered. The serpent's laugh echoed like breaking glass. "Not what I want, my dear. but what you're willing to give." Before she could reply, Adrian stepped forward and held a mirror before her. Lydia saw her reflection, distorted and monstrous, with a shadow of the serpent coiled tight around her throat. "Choose," Adrian intoned. "To feed the serpent is to rise, but the serpent keeps what it takes." Lydia thought of her peers, her critics, her hunger to make them kneel. She nodded. The serpent leapt, fangs sinking into her silhouette in the mirror. Pain shot through Lydia's body like fire and ice, but as it subsided, so did her fear. She looked down at her hands, which now bore streaks of emerald scales shimmering like the creature's. Lucrezia smirked. "You are bound now, my dear, but your ability will be without limit, as long as you feed." Years passed, and Lydia became an unmatched sensation. Her works fetched fortunes. Her name was spoken with reverence, her fame unparalleled. But beneath it all, she was hollow. The canvas in her studio was never empty. It devoured her will, and each piece came at a cost. A fragment of her soul here, a sliver of memory there. Until one day, standing before her latest serpent-inspired masterpiece, she realized there was nothing left of the girl who once walked through Tranquillis's doors. And so, the serpent waits, for the next dreamer willing to trade their essence for eternity. Tell me, my dear viewers, what would you sacrifice to create something unforgettable? Now, sleep tight, if you still can. Until our paths cross once more in the immortal dark, farewell.